In the aftermath of the epic shit show known as the Seventh Crusade, Sultan Baybars and his vicious Mamluk troops attacked the Christian cities in the Levant and destroyed the fortresses of the military orders to fulfill his dream of driving the smelly Franks out of the Holy Land forever and ever. The only good Frank is worth to being the dead Frank.
What about the Frankfurters? Those is pretty good.
The Mamelukes attacked Nazareth in 1263 and destroyed all the churches after they kicked all the Christian priests out of the city. They moved on to Arsif next, but the hospitalities held strong. So Baybars offered them safe passage to Acre if they surrendered. The knights accepted his offer, but as they were preparing to leave, Baybars said he was just kidding around about the safe passage thing and killed them all.
Hey, you said you'd let us go free and give us free beer! Where's the beer?
I fooled you! We're not letting you go! And no beer either! The Mamelukes were blitzing their way across the Levant and easily took over both Haifa and Caesarea next, and then proceeded to destroy all the Christian churches and raze the Latins' fortifications to the ground to make sure there was nothing left for the Crusaders to come back to should they try to make a comeback in the Holy Land.
I destroy your castle, you stupid Frankel!
Bobby, that stupid Mamluk infidel kid broke my Christian castle.
To make matters even worse, after all the crushing defeats at the hands of the Mamelukes, the Latins also had to deal with the ominous threat of the Mongol hordes that were moving westward and destroying everything in their path. But luckily for the Latins, the Mongols hated those stinking Mamluk bastards a lot more than they hated the Christians.
Hey, how come I can ride a horse but Genghis Khan?
Because I am the imperial leader of... Oh, wait, that is a joke. Genghis Khan.
The Mamelukes continued their assault on all things Christian and took the strategic Templar fortress at Safed in 1266 and slaughtered the entire Templar garrison after that dirty lying fucker Baybars once again tricked the knights by offering them safe passage to Acre in exchange for surrendering their fortress, then saying he was just joking around about the safe passage and had them all killed.
Liar! Liar! If you are wearing pants, they'd be on fire!
Well, it is not my fault that you is all such gullible boneheads.
By 1268, Baybars and the Mamluks conquered Jaffa and killed every single Christian that resided there before moving on to the Crusaders' prized city of Antioch. The Mamluks then surrounded the mighty city and put it under siege. Due to a lack of able-bodied men willing or able to fight back, their fate was sealed, and the city fell in just 2 months' time.
How you miss from this club? You're the worst fucking archer ever!
Once again, Baybars told the Christians he would let them walk free if they surrendered the city, which they did. And once again, that no good lying Mamluk prick broke his promise and said, "Ha ha, fooled you," then slaughtered 17,000 Christian men and took about 60,000 Christian women and children as his prisoners and sold them to horny Turks as sex slaves.
Ha ha! I have fooled you again! You have ordered to be my sex slave!
Okay, does this sex slave job have the pension plan?
Antioch was then destroyed, but Baybars was getting nervous that the Christians would join together to get revenge on him. So he sent a delegation to Acre and offered a 10-year truce from further hostilities. The Latins were devastated by this point and had little choice but to accept his offer and hope that the lying bastard kept his fucking word. And he promised to stop calling us bad names too.
That won't stop me from calling him a farter.
The unthinkable, the complete loss of all the Crusader states in the Holy Land was a real threat now. Pope Clement IV didn't want to be known as the Pope who lost the Holy Land, so he called for a new crusade to reclaim the Latin kingdom and kick the Mameluke infidels the fuck out of there. Sadly, the Pope's call fell on deaf ears because enthusiasm for crusading was pretty much dead in Europe by now, and no one really cared about Jerusalem's fate or the Latin weirdos that lived there anymore because it was too far away, too full of smelly infidels, and, as always, way too fucking hot.
Come on, man. This sucks. Nothing's biting. Let's go crusading instead.
Yeah, well, a bad day fishing better than a good day crusading. It seemed that Outremer would be lost forever. But then King Louie IX, old St. Louis himself, caught the crusading bug once again and vowed to lead another crusade to save the Holy Land for the Christians. St. Louis even guaranteed a win this time because he learned what not to do after getting his ass whipped by the infidels in the Seventh Crusade. Aren't you a bit too old to go out crusading?
Too old? That is a negative stereotype against elderly. Whippersnapper.
I won't say the king is old, but if he were milk, I would sniff him. We...
St. Louis then held a big, gaudy extravaganza for himself and took the cross once again. St. Louis then held a press conference and told his French subjects not to worry about him because he was taking Jerusalem back for real this time. And God had no choice but to be on his side because he was a bona fide saint and all that.
I know I may be good Lord, but I still know how to party. Now, who wants a jalapeno papa?
Even though St. Louis was a beloved leader, the lack of interest in yet another stupid crusade was widespread, and most Europeans decided to skip it and stay home. Although he did muster up about 10,000 knights, foot soldiers, and religious nut jobs to accompany him on his new endeavor.
Hey, do you guys want to go on the crusade with me?
A crusade? Not me. I'm a pacifist.
I'm too drunk to go crusading.
And I am just too lazy to go crusading. A fleet of ships was amassed at Aigues-Mortes in southern France in early July in the year of our Lord 1270, and ready to sail to the Holy Land, when St. Louis announced that they were going to Tunis instead, because he thought he could convert the Bay of Tunis, El Mustancia, to Christianity, and use Tunis as a base of operations to attack the Mamelukes in Egypt.
Surprise! We are not going to Jerusalem. We are going to Tunisia.
I already made reservations for rooms at the Holiday Inn.
Some people say that St. Louis made the change of plans after his brother, Charles I of Anjou, convinced him to attack Tunis instead of Jerusalem, so Charles could get exclusive rights to the lucrative shipping and trading market between North Africa and his kingdom in Sicily, and get even richer.
So, you think if we attack Tunis, it will help the Christian cause?
I don't know about the Christian cause, but it will help my cause. to make a whole lot of moolah. Whatever the reason for the change in plans didn't really matter anyhow, because St. Louis was the goddamn king of France. And if he wanted to go crusading in Tunis, then so be it. They were going crusading in Tunis. So with his wife, Margaret of Provence, 3 of his sons, his brother Alphonse, a few nephews, and 10,000 religious fanatics by his side, St. Louis and the Crusaders set off for Tunis.
Gee, I remember the boats being much bigger the last time I went on the crusade.
St. Louis' fleet landed at Carthage in late July and found the town to be nearly deserted, except for a few undernourished Turkish mercenaries that were holding down a small fortress. The Crusaders attacked in full force and quickly overpowered and killed the Saracen guards, and set up camp there to plan their assault on Tunis.
Let's go kill some infidels! But first, did anyone got an extra pair of dry socks?
And then we kill all these stupid executive bastards at Quaker Hut. For this compagnon in mind, c'est dans Transylvania.
St. Louis didn't want to repeat the mistakes of his first crusade, so he ordered his troops to sit tight and chill until his brother, Charles I of Anjou, arrived from Sicily with fresh supplies, fresh arancini de riso, and most importantly, lots of fresh-faced soldiers to bolster the Crusaders' ranks and give them the manpower needed to conquer Tunis.
I won't start the crusade until Charles gets here. And besides, jeopardy is on.
I am so bored. Can we just go back home already, Dad?
Meanwhile, the Bey of Tunis, who was quite happy being Muslim and was definitely not interested in converting, was safe and sound behind the walls of the city. So both sides dug in and played the waiting game to see whose army of reinforcements arrived first before attempting an attack.
You really should convert to Christianity. God likes us the best, and we get Christmas.
Yeah, I like Islam pretty much. And besides, Christmas is over-commercialized.
I admit that even though I am Muslim, I am fond of liking that Charlie Brown Christmas special.
The Crusaders soon realized that hanging around Tunis in August was a really bad idea, as the oppressive heat, lack of fresh food and water, and unsanitary camp conditions decimated the Crusaders' ranks with dysentery, causing the troops to become pooped out, literally.
Turn over and let me stick my finger in your ear, okay?
Uh-oh. I know how this one ends. Yowza!
I made you some nice hot chicken soup, but we ran out of chickens, so I use an old cat instead.
Professional medical training lead me to believe that the sauce is really good.
Charles I of Anjou finally showed up on August 24th, but half the Crusaders were already dead, and the other half were way too sick to fight. Even the beloved St. Louis was really sick, and just one day after Charles arrived, the king lay down on a bed of ashes, cried out, "Jerusalem! Jerusalem!" then ripped a huge, loud, smelly fart and died.
You make me come all this way, and now you up and die? You are very selfish, Louis.
Upon the death of King Louis IX, it was now Charles in charge, as his brother took over as leader of the crusade. But, unlike St. Louis, Charles I was not a religious fanatic, and after a few indecisive skirmishes with the Tunisians, he decided he had enough crusading and just wanted to go home. So he sued the Bey of Tunis for peace.
Christian, Muslim, I don't care. I pray to the Almighty Dollar.
You are a greedy pig, Charlie. But you are an honest greedy pig.
The Bey of Tunis wasn't that religious either, and just wanted the Crusaders to leave him alone. So he agreed to a truce and gave Charles I free trade rights with Tunis, safe residence for Christian priests in the city, a bag of gold, and a Godiva signature chocolate truffles gift box in exchange for the Crusaders leaving Tunis and never returning again.
The more money you give me, the further away I will go, okay?
Then I will give you lots of money. And if I never see a franc again, it will be too soon.
And lo, in the year of our Lord 1270, Charles I of Anjou gathered the remaining Crusaders on board his fleet of ships and was ready to set sail for his kingdom in Sicily, when Lord Edward of England arrived to help them with the Crusade. But Charles was like,
"Sorry, man, it's way too freaking hot here. We're going home."
thus formally ending the pointless and insignificant 8th Crusade.
Nothing to see here. Get back in your boats and go back home.
Go back home? Bloody hell! We only just got here! And now that the dust has settled, let's take a look at the big board of death and get ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr.'s take on the debacle known as the 8th Crusade. Death estimates are based on the historical fact that most people of that era were savage lunatics blinded by religious furor that thoroughly enjoyed killing people just for fun. I'm not a fan of the Crusaders' work in this 8th Crusade. In fact, I think the Crusaders had a very ho-hum draft, and I would give them a final grade of C, as bad as it gets, to me. The Crusaders had 4 needs coming into the draft: leader, linebacker, safety, and guard, and they went with an aged leader and drafted old St. Louis with their first-round draft pick. The Crusaders drafted Louis too high. I had him ranked 27th, and the Crusaders drafted him at number 17, which was way too early in my book. Well now, that was pretty crazy, right? Thousands of fanatical Christian crusaders following old St. Louis once again to attack the infidels in Tunis, in order to attack the infidels in Egypt, in order to beat them down and reclaim Jerusalem for Christianity once again. Honestly, what could possibly go wrong? Anyhow, hope you enjoyed Holy Crap, the 8th Crusade. And that, as they say, is that.